With this week's modifier being classic cars only, here's some of the best, underrated, and worst classic cars for each discipline. For Street Tier 1, just use the Porsche. The 911 Carrera RS is by far the most powerful car in this discipline. Of course, we also have the RS2 Avant as well, but if you look beyond those, you can find some pretty interesting off-meta choices. The RX-7 has a low top speed but very insane NOS power. The Mustang Boss Lime Edition has a really high top speed, which can almost compete with the Porsche, but still lags behind a bit. The Stratos is hard to handle, but very rewarding. One of the most fun cars in the tier in my opinion. The Integra and M3 are very balanced. I'll just list the rest of them here since there's so many choices. However, do not use the 300 SLR, and especially do not use the Bugatti, unless you want to suffer. For Street Tier 2, the F40 and 993 will still dominate, but the gap between them and the rest of the cars isn't as big as Street Tier 1. For generalist cars, you can compete with the NSX, the Testarossa, the R32 GTR, and to be honest, basically anything else apart from the bike. But if you want a good top speed car, the Super Refusion Edition dominates now that the Huracan isn't here, and the Ring Brothers Charger is a sleeper for highway routes as well, with insane 6-gear NOS power. Just don't use the bike or the Hoonigan Camaro, those are the worst options. For drift, Unicorn. We don't have that many options for racing, but the ones we do are pretty good off-meta picks. I think the best car here is the Proto Hub 1. It's extremely planted and has good engine power. Some of its competitors include the Ferrari F40, any of the Porsches, and the Ferrari 365 GTB4. I just wish we had a few more classic racing cars. There's also a lot of muscle cars here as well, but they kinda underperform and they're just not that good. Just choose anything else. And do not choose the 300 SLR. They butchered the handling and speed on it. I'm not even kidding, bro. You'd be faster in a Street Tier 1 car. Now, hypercars are where it gets interesting. All the classic hypercars are underrated and worth using. The EB110, although it has that Bugatti understeer, is very stable and has really good guttering. The Nissan R390 handles almost like an Alpha GP car, and it's just a great car in general. The 911 GT1 is one of the best cars for top speed. The Jaguar is very balanced, and the Proto Flashback is a decent pick. But if you want my opinion, one car I'm really looking out for is the McLaren F1. Ever since the bounce patch, this car went from underperforming to really fun to drive. Overall, I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. It seems to be a pretty balanced car selection. For Alpha GP, we only have one car, the American Petrol. Just slap a Pro Tune on it and deal with it. Although I will say, its top speed is actually slightly better than the other AGP cars. That's the only real notable thing about it. For Rally Raid, just use the 959 Raid. Although to be fair, it does have a pretty low top speed, so you could probably get away with using some of the other cars, especially in slipstream routes. You could try the Miata, you could try the Beetle, but both of which are going to underperform on handling and comparison, so just be careful. Oh, and by the way, if you have the Matte Edition Charger, you should be using that. It's secretly a beast. For Rally, just use the Peugeot 205. It's still going to dominate regardless. Fortunately, you have your usual off-meta choices. Or you could just use the ice cream truck. Nah, bro, I'm not even going to say anything about it. And finally, we have Monster. Yeah, we only have 2 choices. 3 if you have the DeLorean from the crew too. Just choose whatever's funnier. That's all the choices for classic cars in Motorfest. I think this modifier is going to be kind of alright. At least it has a lot more variety than some of the other ones, like the British only. But there's still a lot of disciplines that have too little cars. But definitely take a look at some of the hypercars and racing cars. This modifier might put you onto them. That being said, see you next time.